Tonight, tax authority prepares to collect millions owed. Media Industry Development Authority lays ground rules for training. And Fiji prepares to celebrate 43 years of independence. Very good evening. Government is owed millions of dollars in fringe benefit taxes. The tax authority came across these serious tax omissions, most committed by employers, following a recent tax audit. The Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority is now giving employers 1 month to pay up or be penalised. Myron Williams reports.
Special audit teams have been set up by the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority to inspect and audit records to ensure that employers are paying their fringe benefit taxes. A statement released by FIRCA today has revealed some serious tax omissions. A recent tax audit has revealed that a majority of employers are not paying taxes on the fringe benefits they provide to their staff. This has been estimated to be in the millions. According to FIRCA Chief Executive Officer Chitoko Tikulevu, any non-cash benefits provided by the employer are subject to 20% fringe benefit tax. These include motor vehicle, housing, property, loan, and even a meal or refreshment fringe benefit, to name a few. Chitoko Tikulevu has urged taxpayers to comply with this regulation and pay up their 20% dues on fringe benefits if they have not been doing so. For those employers who are legally exempt from paying tax but provide non-cash benefits to their employees, they're required to add the value of benefits to their worker's salary and deduct PAYE accordingly, instead of applying fringe benefit tax. Tikulevu adds that when people don't pay the right taxes, they are denying the state coffers, and more importantly, the provision of public services, which benefits all citizens. FIRCA says that government has reduced tax rates significantly in the recent years and have also improved their processes to facilitate businesses. And it is only right that taxpayers exercise good faith and comply with the laws. So the tax authority is now offering a grace period until the 11th of next month for taxpayers to comply, or else there may be hefty penalties. In the first 6 months of this year, FIRCA collected around $8.2 million from the fringe benefit tax. This is a significant increase from the $2.9 million it collected for the same period last year. Myron Williams, Fiji One News.
All donor-sponsored media-related training will soon require the full approval of the Fiji Media Industry Development Authority. MIDA Chairman Ashwin Raj says this is in line with proper protocols and is also something practiced overseas. He says while MIDA encourages upskilling of the local industry, there are proper processes that foreign-based agencies must follow if they want to do the same here.
I think that is deeply problematic that if you're going to, engage with a whole bunch of journalists in the media industry that works within a particular national polity, without actually engaging the authority under which you registered, but proceeding to have a series of conversations that are going to affect, the welfare of that country.
Raj says by doing this, foreign agencies will recognize the authority as a legitimate and independent body.
Simply policing, I'm saying enter the protocols of the authority and work with it, rather than creating silos, because silos are deeply problematic. It will only serve to create fissures in society. We're trying to create some kind of cohesiveness.
Media organizations have been urged to prepare their teams well for the 2014 elections. The Fiji Media Industry Development Authority has also reminded media houses to incorporate important components of elections reporting in the lead up to next year's polls.
The media will play a fundamental role in the lead-up to elections next year, especially since Fijians will head to the polls after 8 years. The men now at the helm of the Fiji Media Industry and Development Authority could not emphasize enough the need for balanced reporting.
The media cannot be the judge, jury, and the executioner. Don't take one side of the story and simply report on that. try and see what the facts are. Go to the institutions and the authorities concerned. Consult each and every party that is actually implicated in a particular story.
Raj says the media should verify facts before broadcasting or publishing, since a lot of sensitive issues will be involved. Calls have also been made for journalists to critically engage themselves while interviewing potential candidates.
Verify the facts. At least one aspiring candidate, and this is my reading of the situation, had a full-featured interview in the newspapers masquerading herself as a lawyer, and as it turns out, she has not been even admitted to the bar, and she's not registered as a lawyer. Now, I had to do my homework. I expect you to do the same.
The authority will also be conducting a series of capacity building seminars and workshops. These will be refresher courses for journalists, focusing on techniques of reporting during elections.
I cannot overemphasize the need for robust public discourse on national matters in the build-up to elections. I think the current preoccupation with trivia leaves too much to be desired.
Raj says there's a need for robust discussions from media organizations as the country heads to the polls next year. Halitesh Dutt, Fiji One News.
And still with the Media Industry and Development Authority, the media regulating body says there's no room for self-censorship in the local media. This was in response to a report published by the Vanuatu-based Pacific Media Assistance Scheme, which revealed that the media in Fiji was still self-censoring.
Media Industry and Development Authority Director Matai Akola did not mince his words while responding to the report by PECMES.
We're talking about entities from outside dictating to us how things are done. They pick our brains and they go out and produce findings like that, probably because they answer to OSAID, because they need jobs. But those questions, you can answer it yourself.
According to the reports, the media industry here has described our political situation as an atmosphere of control that has largely been attributed to media decrees and lack of trust in government. The report also reveals that journalists here are confused about a range of issues. Akola says all this must be addressed collectively.
Some to self-censorship, some work towards self-regulation. But from here on, moving forward, where do we go? Do we continue to allow PECMES to dictate to us how we do things? Or collectively we sit and say, okay, these are the realities. What can we do? And this is what media is coming in to do.
Adding that there is simply no two ways about it, the media should get the facts right and engage people in dialogue.
We've got tools in place. Coming to that, how we address all this so that it fits in to every person that's involved in the media industry, not only journalists, but across the board.
The PECMES survey was conducted earlier this year. Halitesh Dutt, Fiji One News.
And you'll be able to watch Ashwin Raj's full interview with our reporter Halitesh Dutt on the Fiji One News social media pages. Catch that on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. A whole host of events will have been planned to commemorate our 43rd year of independence. Government is going all out to ensure the nation marks this significant event. And seen here at Albert Park in Suva, a Republic of the Fiji Military Forces personnel who are practicing for the trooping of the colours. This will be part of celebrations here in Suva on Fiji Day on Thursday. The President Ratu Pelinaila Tikau will be the chief guest at this event. The Suva event will be broadcast live on Fiji One with our coverage beginning at 9:25 a.m. It will also be streamed live on the web link on your screens now. Celebrations will also be held at the following centres tomorrow. In the West, Fiji Day celebrations will be held at Churchill Park in Lautoka. This will begin with a march through the city at 8:30. In the Northern Division, a march will start from Y Corner to Subrail Park at 8:15. Celebrations will also be held in the old capital Levuka. The Minister of Social Welfare, Women and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Chikulubeni, will officiate at this event on Thursday. The theme for Fiji Day this year is moving together in unity to ensure a prosperous Fiji. So for those of you who can't make it to any of those venues, remember you can catch the live coverage of celebrations here in the capital city on Fiji One. Our live coverage again starts at 9:25 on Thursday morning. Still ahead in the news, cane growers not impressed with fire starters. And new gear for wheelbarrow boys. The Department of Immigration received a new batch of passports last month. Director Immigration Major Nemani Buniwanga confirmed that another 35,000 new books arrived on the 26th of last month. With the high demand of new passports, this new batch now means the department has more than 40,000 in stock.
A total of 35,000 books. When that 35,000 books arrived, we had a total of 7,000 books that were left. So came up to a total of 42.
Having faced passport shortage problems in the past, it's expected that these passports will be able to sustain demand until October next year.
Now we are left with 41,000. And with that 35,000, will take us again to next year. So we have a lot of books in place.
Meanwhile, Major Buniwanga just returned from the UN General Assembly on high-level dialogue on international migration and development. The Immigration Director also had a chance to discuss with his counterparts from around the world the various challenges faced by immigration departments.
One issue that stemmed out from the meeting was to link migration and development. And this will be an issue that will be taken to the next level, or the various levels of meetings, because migration is such a big issue worldwide, and we need to accept the fact that these two goes together, migration and development.
A key issue coming out of discussions was the need for countries to accept that migration has a direct impact on their development.
With the work that's being carried out by these foreigners and investment that they bring into a country, they are creating employment to locals, and changes are happening in various areas that they invest on.
Late detection on cancer cases continues to be a problem for the Ministry of Health. But as Richard Nath reports, the ministry is doing all it can to ensure those suffering from cancer receive some sort of treatment either locally or abroad.
It's a constant battle, but one the Ministry of Health will not give up on, knowing the number of people who rely on it for assistance. Part of the progress involves local treatment for cancer patients who are diagnosed early.
We note that the incidence of cancer worldwide is on the increase, and so is it in Fiji. Unfortunately, the statistics show that we diagnose approximately 1,000 new cases of cancer a year. In women, we note that breast cancer has superseded cancer cervix as the leading cause of cancer now. And these are, in fact, NCD related.
But there are certain levels of treatment not available here. For these, the ministry then looks for affordable options abroad.
There is enough advocacy material, information out in the public, but unlike many other populations, we sometimes refuse to accept the fact that we need to be screened. It is a known fact that close to 70% of cancers which are diagnosed in developing countries present rather late in advanced stages. So we are advocating that people need to be aware.
The ministry has a strict screening process. The final decision, however, is made by the board.
Care, and this may include surgery. Sometimes it involves chemotherapy or a combination of chemotherapy, surgery, and/or radiotherapy included. We have various programs in place.
Most cancers can be cured if detected early, but the ministry has found that many patients come forward a little too late when they are in the advanced stages of their illness. Richard Nath, Fiji One News.
Close to 1,000 patients are diagnosed with various types of cancer every year around the country. Topping the list is breast cancer. An increase in cases has seen its statistics surpass cervical cancer. With October dedicated to breast cancer awareness, or Pinktober, the ministry's awareness programs are ongoing.
It's important to do something about it rather than wait to be diagnosed. There is enough advocacy material, information out in the public, but unlike many other populations, we sometimes refuse to accept the fact that we need to be screened.
Pinktober events this year have been overshadowed by a dispute within the Fiji Cancer Society, but the ministry hopes this can be ironed out soon to allow the society to continue with its work.
Important that the Cancer Society becomes operational as soon as practical. Without further comments on that issue, I think it's important that the ministry receives the support of NGOs and civil society organizations in the battle against cancer.
While it may seem like an overused cliché, there simply is no other way around the fact that the private sector is indeed the engine for growth in any economy. And while it has been acknowledged that 70% of our gross domestic product is derived from the Western Division, local businesses have been lauded as the mainstay to the state's reflections. At least that's the view of the Special Administrator for Lautoka and now Ba and Tavua, Pravin Bala. Madhim Bolaitamana caught up with him and filed this report.
Pravin Bala is no stranger to administrations and leading municipalities. The newly appointed Special Administrator for the Mba and Tavua municipalities says while the challenges of the work can take its toll, it comes down to good planning and executing precisely as planned, while he also runs the administrative works for the only other city in Fiji.
I've been working with people and people are very happy that I'm back, and I always consult people if there is any needs to be done, and that's how things happens in Ba. And I'm happy that the business community is very much working with Batan Council in terms of capital development. We have regular meetings with them, and I'm happy.
Ask Bala what his secret to success is, and he will tell you that while serving the people are at the top of the agenda, the business community must also be a happy bunch to generate economic growth and sustainability and a stellar work ethic attitude to ensure his work is carried out effectively.
It's very important for any council, not only Lautoka City, but for any council to work with the business community. Let's not forget that. I mean, they are the ones who are basically running the show. And I must say here that I have got very good relationship with Lautoka, Ba and Tavua business community, and I'm working with them. We have regular meetings, and whenever they have meetings, they invite me.
Bala says following the success of the Gold Town Carnival in Tavua last week, his committee hopes to ride on that high to initiate the business community, and also the same with Mba.
Majority of our people are residing in urban centers. So there is a need for us to see that there is some changes to the urban development. And we are working with the Ministry for Local Government as well. And I'm also told that there is a review of our Local Government Act. Once those things are in place, once those things are done, then we will have more powers to...
Madhim Bolaitamana, Fiji One News.
The Sugarcane Growers Council Chief Executive Sundresh Chetty says those caught burning cane deliberately must be taken to task and face the full brunt of the law. Chetty was responding to allegations that a cane farmer caused the destruction of pine trees worth $250,000 in Drasa outside Lautoka. Yesterday we reported that 45,000 trees were damaged when an uncontrolled fire spread to the pine forests. It's alleged that while the farmer was burning his sugarcane farm, the fire spread to the pine trees. The farmer was questioned and released by police. Chetty said the council did not condone any form of cane burning by farmers and have been holding numerous workshops to enlighten farmers on the dangers of burning and its effect to the environment. He said the SCGC is also working closely with police to end the growing incidents of cane burning in the western and northern cane belts. The capital city's Wheelbarrow Boys Association received a new reflector vest and raincoats today, thanks to the Minister for Youth and Sports, Commander William Nopoto. It's hoped this gear will keep them safe from the elements as they ply their trade.
They're often labeled as thugs or troublemakers, but like any other law-abiding citizens, these boys are trying to make an honest living by providing a simple service to those who frequent the markets, carting goods from point A to point B. For these boys, forming an association was the only way they would be recognized and accepted by the people. And today, they had a special visitor who brought them much-needed equipment to make their work a little bearable.
And I'm glad that we can have this day with them and provide them with some of the tools for their work, make their life much easier.
Commander Nopoto reminded the boys that they play an important role and to be proud of their roles.
They should never look down upon the job that they're doing. It is a job like any other job that anybody has. It's an opportunity for them to earn. But I emphasize to them that because they interact with the members of the public, that it is an opportunity for them to exercise kindness to people that they serve.
The minister used the upcoming Fiji Day celebrations to emphasize that they too have a hand in moving this nation forward.
And we ask ourselves, okay, we're 43 years old and we think we are matured now as a nation. But it's all our contribution that makes us the nation we are now. It includes the wheelbarrow boys. Years ago, you would come to the market and struggle through the produce that you come in and buy. Now we have this service and they offer that service that makes life much easier for us to come to the market.
Since the formation of the association, the crime rate in and around the market area has dropped significantly. Richard Nath, Fiji One News.
Coming up is our Pacific segment. Stay with us. New Zealand Prime Minister John Key has been in damage control mode at the start of the APEC meeting in Bali, Indonesia. Key used the chance to meet with China's president to assure him that the recent Fonterra incident will not happen again. The two leaders are amongst 21 other world leaders at the APEC meeting.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is now the headline act at APEC in the absence of the American president. President Xi benefits doubly from Barack Obama's no-show. China appears strong in comparison to the United States with its government shut down. And Mr. Obama undermines his own Asia-Pacific pivot by not coming to Indonesia, the country in which he was raised.
Yeah, look, I mean, you can go through the pecking orders and you can have a bit of a debate on that. But I mean, from our perspective, we're less concerned about that. It obviously would have been great if President Obama was here and an opportunity to engage on the issues.
But Mr. Key had his own issues to deal with during his talk with the Chinese president, namely the Fonterra botulism scare. While it turned out to be a false alarm, it saw infant formula hastily pulled from Chinese shelves, shaking consumer confidence in New Zealand's most lucrative export market.
He said that obviously food security is, and food safety standards are hugely important to Chinese consumers, particularly because they have a one-child policy. But he could see the sincerity of the way we were handling the issue, the fact that I was prepared to come up to China.
John Key left under no illusions about how concerned President Xi is.
The fact that he was engaged, understood and briefed tells you that we can't take this situation lightly. I think the message we'll be giving Fonterra is the same message that we give our own regulator, and that is this is serious stuff. I mean, we send about $8 billion worth of product to China every year. There are consequences if mistakes are made.
John Key says he will now send himself to China early in the new year to try and further ease fears.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is telling other leaders in the Asia-Pacific region what they can expect from the world's second-largest economy. He delivered the keynote address at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Bali. His message: APEC members should work together on trade and economic issues for the benefit of all.
We are soberly aware of the potential problems and challenges from falling demand, overcapacity, local debts, and shadow banking. And we are paying close attention to possible impacts coming from the outside. In this connection, we are taking prudent and proper measures to forestall any potential problems.
Jenny's next with sport, and Fiji Sevens team settling in well in the Gold Coast.
That's right, Billy. They have settled and got down to business. We're also bringing you updates on other teams as we count down to the first tournament of the series. That's all coming up after the break. Also ahead, Night Series Rugby to introduce midweek night games. It's all ready for last major football tournament of the year. Good evening. The Fiji Sevens team arrived on the Gold Coast early this morning. The side went through a pool session before making a visit to Gold Coast's Marymount College. Then the team heads straight into business this afternoon with a scrimmage session planned against France.
The digital Fiji Sevens team took time out today and made a visit to Marymount College in Gold Coast. A hero's welcome for the 12-member squad who looked surprised in front of 3,000 students.
Yeah, it was surprising. I think there's more students here and a high school. We didn't expect the whole school to be seated in the assembly. We had a bit of shock, but it was okay.
But apart from that, these boys are aware of their aim here. The side looks injury-free and skipper Osea Kolinisau is confident of repeating the victory once again.
Trying to help with the coach and try and set down a set of rules and try and get the boys to work together, to gel as quickly as we can before we hit the ground running when game day comes.
The side arrived in camp 2 a.m. this morning and Coach Benarain is confident 2 days will be enough for the boys to work out on set piece.
A bit of analysis as well on how we did in Oceania Sevens, and then Wednesday and Thursday similar really. Hard session on Wednesday, Thursday a lighter session, and Friday captain's run, and then straight into it on Saturday.
The side is expected to work on their set pieces for next 2 days before the captain's run on Friday.
All physical teams, all will try to stretch us, all will try to put pressure on our set piece, especially the kickoff. So we're going to have to be on our money and we're going to have to cut our error rate down. And
the side goes in to defend the Gold Coast Sevens for the third time this weekend, and only time will tell whether they'll be able to repeat the victory like past 2 years. In Gold Coast, Vashnil Prasad, Fiji One News.
The USA Sevens team is brimming with confidence to create major upsets in their pool matches in the Gold Coast Sevens. The side's fastest man, Carling Isles, said they have been preparing for the past 2 months for the tournament. They hope to at least qualify for the quarterfinal. USA is grouped with New Zealand, Tonga and Kenya.
We've been training hard for about 2 months now, and we're just, ready to kill it. We've been training hard and beating each other up, so right now we're just ready to, take it on the field, and us, it's going to be real key to come out and start fast and be physical.
Fijian rugby players are continuing to hit the headlines in the game of sevens. In one of the latest inclusions, Scotland will field their first ever Fiji-born player in the Gold Coast Sevens this weekend.
It's history in the making for Fiji-born Joseph Anayadavo. The 28-year-old is the first Fiji-linked player to don the Scotland jersey in the Gold Coast Sevens in the weekend.
Yeah, I am very, very happy. It's my first tournament and my first IRB series. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Anayadavo has been in Scotland since 2009. Originally from Rewa, the former Lelin Memorial School's Dean Sweeney joined the Scotland's 12-member squad after SOS call from the officials.
I was surprised to get the call to come here because I fill in for one of the injured boys.
It'll surely be a new environment for him, and as like all Fiji-born players, he also had a dream of representing Fiji in rugby.
Couldn't be much happier. I tried when I was back home, couldn't get up. So this is just another calling for me, another opportunity to represent another country.
With him, the Scotland Sevens team made a tour to Currumbin Wildlife Centre. The side is confident of a better performance in their bid to qualify from the pool stages.
It'll be difficult, but for us it's about focusing on ourselves. We've shown over the last year that we can beat all 3 teams in our pool, but we need to be more consistent, and that's what we're looking to do this weekend.
It'll surely go down the memory lane when Anayadavo will make his debut against Australia on Saturday. In Gold Coast, Vashnil Prasad for Fiji One News.
The France rugby team is hoping to finish in the top 5 at the Gold Coast Sevens tournament this weekend. The side believe they had a good build-up from the International Sevens last week and look positive for the tournament this weekend.
Every season to have a better level
Yes, we work hard to be in the top 5 every season, and we try to work hard to be better season after season.
This week's Fairbrother will be played 3 days earlier than normal, but 4 hours later. Fiji Rugby will be hosting Thai level tomorrow night at the ANZ Stadium instead of the normal weekends.
Fiji are creating their own piece of history tomorrow.
Fiji will be the first provincial team to allow this to go ahead, the Fairbrother defense at night.
From the usual 3:30 p.m. Saturday match, this week's Fairbrother will now be played at 7 p.m. midweek tomorrow.
Rugby in Fiji is on its professional movement, so at the same time we should acclimatize ourselves to the change.
This is straight out from the overseas rugby calendars. The holders hopeful it will prove successful at the neutral venue at the ANZ Stadium.
We respect the Thai level team. It's also Vanua based, and they have defeated us in the Digicel competition this year, but we are ready for them.
The match will also be televised through Sky Pacific's pay-per-view channel and at the same time streamed live.
The fans, those who always caught up with the work at daytime, so it will be a chance for them to go to the ANZ Stadium to watch.
The match kicks off 7 p.m. tomorrow. William Tamboya, Fiji One News.
Fiji Football Association is all geared up to host the last major tournament of the year in Lautoka this weekend. With most of the preparations done, hopes are high that this year's IDC will be one of the best.
Hopes are high for the Fiji FA to have incident-free courts IDC this year. Last year's tournament concluded with controversies in the final. The head of Fiji FA is optimistic that history will not be repeated.
We are preparing really well for the courts IDC, and it is something that people look forward to. That's the Courts Inter-District Championship. It is one of the premium events of Fiji FA.
The tournament cranks into gear from tomorrow at Lautoka's Churchill Park. Final touches are being put on the park to ensure everything is ready before the kick-off.
Churchill Park, we had meetings yesterday with grounds committee members and everything, and it's going to be looking well. And it's all in order. And teams are preparing well.
Games get underway with the Premier Division tomorrow, with Super Premier teams coming into action from Thursday. And feedbacks on the tournament have been quite positive.
Premier Division teams are preparing well. Lambasa is preparing well. Suva has moved to the west, and they've been having their own friendly warm-up matches between Lautoka and Suva. So this is something very positive that teams are taking seriously.
With all preparations falling into place, Fiji FA is expecting a bumper crowd over the 5-day tournament. Tickets have been selling fast and hopes are high for an increase in sales from tomorrow.
Do come out and watch. This is the last time you'll be able to see a tournament this year. And come out and buy your tickets early so you won't be disappointed if you like to see the particular place and everything. The tickets are very reasonable.
Irfan Khan, Fiji One News.
Suva is eyeing their first back-to-back title in the Inter-District Championship. The side will be out to create history as they did in the IDC last year, this time trying to make it 2 in a row.
Suva! Expect Suva to treat the courts IDC more seriously this time. The side failed to defend their FAC title and didn't have a good outing at the BOG.
Preparation has been going on well. As you know, we have moved to West so that we can better preparation in the West.
After 2 weeks of hectic training in the scorching heat in Western Division, the side is now winding up their trainings ahead of Thursday's kickoff.
Looking at the fixtures itself, we are playing 2 games at 2 o'clock, 2:30. And looking at the weather condition in the West, it's really hot.
Suva were the first southern team to acclimatize early in the western weather.
Mostly getting back to the fitness because the boys were off season for off soccer for almost a month. And now getting back to have that fitness level, that game fitness. So we have been concentrating on that.
Suva also has many challenges up their sleeves as they haven't won a back-to-back IDC title.
It's the determination and dedication of the players. If players are really dedicated, but determined, then nothing is impossible.
Despite the odds, Suva has a good chance to progress into the semi-final stages after being drawn with underdogs Nandronga, Nabua and Nandi in Pool 2.
Every team comes prepared, every team will like to win this tournament, and we won that last year after 28 years. So we'll be playing as we have been playing, and definitely we'll try to improve in this tournament.
With the IDC being the last 60-minute football tournament, Suva will go into the tournament as one of the top bets. Irfan Khan, Fiji One News.
Drasa Secondary School will be out to add another title to their trophy cabinet. The side, after winning the secondary school's under-19 division title, is now confident of another sterling performance at the Courts IDC in Lautoka this weekend. Laced with Fiji under-20s reps Tavita Koroi, Antonia Tuivuna and Lautoka rep Setareki Delana, Drasa will be the team to beat. They also want to be crowned the new champions after defending champs Central College failed to qualify.
Of the Takas IDC, but we do not underestimate any of these three other teams that have come in, but we are equally preparing well so that we can go out and give a good competition to the other teams that are coming in, and hopefully we get a win at the end of the day.
Lautoka football team will try to go one step further in this weekend's inter-district championship. The Blues got into the BOG final in August and now hopes to win the last major tournament at home.
A lot is expected from these players. The pressure is now on them to deliver in this weekend's Courts IDC in front of their home fans.
The preparations are going well. The boys are training sometimes 2 sessions and sometimes 1 session during the daytime.
The Blues are rated highly heading into the final major tournament of the year, but will have to take the extra mile if they are to progress to the semi-finals after being drawn with Rewa, Lambasa and BOG champs Ba.
Both the pools are tough pools. It's not that only our pool is tough, the other pool is also tough. But when we look at our pool, all the teams are good. So the teams which will make more mistakes, they are the ones who are going to suffer at the end.
Lautoka last won the IDC in 2008 with the inclusion of Vanuatu's Nico Jack and John Keltek together with Nigerian Nelson Odeji. Mixed with the top local players, the side would shoulder their campaign.
And we will try our best to do our level best in the upcoming IDC.
Coach Ravinesh Kumar is well advised on the pressure that lies ahead of him in the tournament. He is leaving no stones unturned while fine-tuning Lautoka's attacking and midfield area, which is more of a concern.
Especially on speed work, plus then we have to come down from 90-minute football to 60-minute football. So a lot of speed work is needed, a lot of transition will be occurring during the game, so we're working onto it.
Lautoka faces Rewa 6 p.m. in their first match on Thursday. Irfan Khan, Fiji One News.
The National Games for Special and Inclusive Athletics got underway successfully today at the ANZ Stadium. Over 500 athletes turned out in the fun-filled day where majority of the field and track events were completed. Tomorrow, the relays will be held along with the javelin and high jump, where Eliasa Delana will take part. No results were provided by the organisers at the end of day 1. The Vodafone Fiji Bati welcomed home their NRL players last night. Led by veteran kangaroo Petero Thivonideva, our heroes from the last World Cup semi-final were simply glad to be home.
Finally, the Vodafone Fiji Mbati is complete.
Aaron Drew, Darryl Millard.
Our World Cup heroes, most who made the semi-finals at the last World Cup, back home again after almost 4 years.
To all the Mbatis that are here today. We welcome the team to Fiji and we look forward to the game. Our association with the Rugby League has been over the last 6 years. Obviously, we ranked 4th in the World Cup. We're 7th overall in terms of what you do. But actually, the only thing I want to say with the Petro's comment is that you're going to bring the cup home.
Petero Thivonideva will captain the World Cup side after making a shock return to international rugby.
Thank you very much for the attendance here tonight. It's a huge honour for us to be here. We're really excited about the week ahead. I know there's plenty on and we're looking forward to getting out the training.
Thivonideva will be 37.5 years old when he leads the Mbati into the tournament in England and Wales.
It'll be great preparation for us as we get ready to head off to England.
Age, however, is no barrier as he's represented the Kangaroos 45 times over a 10-year period.
We've been working basically 2 years to get this team together. It's the first time we're going to get everyone together, which is a really important step.
The Mbati fly out to England on Monday. William Demboya, Fiji One News.
And that's our sports news today.
Thanks, Jenny. Stay with us for world news after the break. Hello again, we're on to world news now, and as we enter day 7 of a partial government shutdown, there was little progress over the weekend. And our attention is turning toward the next looming deadline on October 17th, when the US will officially reach its $16.699 trillion cap on borrowing. Sunland Safati has more on these dual battles from Washington.
The shutdown enters its second week, and it sure sounds like the stalemate is sticking around. This weekend, Speaker Boehner insisted there are not the votes in the House to pass a clean spending bill. Today, a dare for the Speaker directly from the President's mouth.
Then they should prove it. Let the bill go to the floor and let's see what happens.
The President visited FEMA today, one of the many agencies affected by the prolonged shutdown. And he says there is a bipartisan majority in the House to pass a clean spending bill without any attachments to health care.
My very strong suspicion is that there are enough votes there. And the reason that Speaker Boehner hasn't called a vote on it is because he doesn't apparently want to see the government shutdown end at the moment.
The bigger concern now, the riskier economic deadline just ahead. In 10 days, the nation will reach its cap on borrowing. Economists warn that a failure to raise the debt ceiling will result in Social Security payments, IRS refunds, Medicare reimbursements, and veterans benefits all being threatened, higher interest rates, and a slowdown in purchases of houses, cars, and anything else that requires a loan. The Speaker says on this issue, too, the Republicans are united. They won't agree to raise the borrowing limit unless the White House agrees to some spending cuts with no new taxes.
It's time to have that conversation before our economy is put further at risk.
The growing feeling now on Capitol Hill, settle into this partial shutdown. It may stick around until Congress works out the bigger deal on debt.
And as the United States heads into the second week of a partial government shutdown, some are asking whether the impact of this political standoff will extend beyond its shores. The CNN's Jim Bolden reports from London.
Here in Europe, it's headlines like this one, that all the debates going on in the U.S. about the debt ceiling and about the shutdown could lead to risk to the global economy. Well, that's the last thing that Europe needs, because its own debt crisis has still yet to play out after 5 years. So the last thing that Europe needs is a storm coming from somewhere else and affecting the economies here.
Mexican authorities are searching for answers after a monster truck crashed, killed 8 people, including 4 children, and injured dozens more. Take a look at this video of the accident. You can see the massive red truck run over a hurdle, then plow into a crowd of people in the stands. Nearly 30 people were taken to the hospital and a dozen more remain in critical condition. One official says it's possible the truck driver was drinking before the crash. He also says blood tests have been done and prosecutors will determine who was responsible. The event was suspended after the incident. Brief showers was experienced over the Central Division today. Afternoon showers were experienced over the Northern Division. Elsewhere, fine weather prevailed. A trough of low pressure lies slow moving to the north of Vanuatu and extends east-southeastwards just to the north of Fiji and over Tonga. Recapping our top stories tonight, Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority prepares to collect millions owed in Fringe benefit tax. Media Industry Development Authority lays ground rules for training media personnel, and Fiji prepares to celebrate 43 years of independence. That's Fiji One News. Remember, you can watch our new news videos and updates on our Fiji One News Facebook and Twitter page, as well as our Fiji One News YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Good evening.